not going to spend a lot of time going over this. I've already put out a couple of videos on this ReactR, maybe more than a couple, but I have 100% production landed in the USA. They have arrived. Here they are, and check it out. Actually, let's get rid of this paddle real quick. Let's just kind of like look over it here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go from back here at the drain plug like I normally do, because there's a lot of changes on this. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to start back here at the stern and just kind of like work my way up. But first off, let me throw the specs up on this thing. I don't have a lot of the specs. Actually, I'm going on memory. I'm pretty sure that it comes in at 8'11", and it's 27 or 27.5 on width and the widest point. The volume on it, I don't have a volume, but you know what? Doesn't matter how much volume, and it matters where's the volume. Remember that, everybody. But I'm gonna guess it's around about between 87 and 90, looking over the size of it and comparing it to other boats in the same kind of like volume sizing. So there's all the specs and everything, and I think it comes in maybe 3 colors, and it has the advantage on this one. What Pyranha brought back was their custom colors. So you can do custom colors on any of these ReactRs if you order them, but you gotta allow for some time frame, and you know, I think you gotta pay a little extra or something on it. Let's go ahead and talk about the rocker on this thing. Let's push it aside. Look how easy it did that, by the way. So what this boat has, it has a kind of like a V-shaped taper like that, and the actual contact in the water is about from here to here. So it has a very small amount of contact that gives it an ability to really react back and forth to whatever hits you from the side, or if you need to make a quick move to the left or right. Some might like that, some might like to be engaged a little more, but believe it or not, what they've done is they've got a super easily adjustable seat. I moved this seat back, and my friend Raleigh, he moved it back, and it lowered the tail rocker and brought it down. The tail rocker height on this is 12.5 inches in the tail. I did measure it. 12 and 16 in the bow. You can kind of see the bow right there, 16 and 12. And deck height from here to here is 15 inches from there. This tail is more like a tapered coming out. It's more like a half moon going in that direction. And it has a peak. They added a little peak right here on it, and they've peaked all the way up. Very subtle peak, and then they've shedded it off. Very nice deck lines. I love these deck stallings. So the drain plug is a higher durometer drain plug, molded in. Look at this. I love this drain plug. It has a little hole right there in the fish's head where you could tie a string if you want to, but they've added something down in there that holds it in place. Stamped in medium there. It doesn't look like they've welded it. It's got a little rough edge on it, but they'll probably clean that up on the later models. Went over the peak here. The name ReactR really means you can react to whatever the river's throwing at you. That's what it was explained to me. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a ReactR. I don't know, but ReactR is what it is. I like how they did the hand grips here, the hand openings. Very nice and big right here. And I love how they kind of like blended this line in with the handles where it sheds water nicely off of there. Looks really good. This boat's a really good looking boat, by the way. Moving on up, you can see it has the hump here. They have a turn down rim. Remember, Pyranha used to do a flat out rim. So what they're doing, they've turned their rim down. So they've added the drain plug here. They've added something that looks like that's for structure here. And they've structured all of that because they redid complete. This is the elite outfitting. This has been covered by a lot of other people, so I'm not going to go into it. I might do a separate video later on this, but let me just kind of like do a rapid fire on the elite outfitting. I love this back band. They've lifted it finally. They've got one of the higher back bands in there. Look at the distance in this thing. It runs from hip pad to hip pad. They have a new style hip pad that looks like you just added two. I outfitted it, by the way. I got here at the river and I outfitted this in less than 2 minutes. I just threw a bulkhead foam in there, 2 hip pad shims, and I was ready. That was it. It was like super easy. There was no adjustment or anything. They have adjustable thigh hooks. Oh, I did adjust these. I loosened these 2 bolts, and these thigh hooks kind of go down and they grab your legs. I got them in the most aggressive position. I wish they were in there a little tighter, but you know what? They work just fine. These are very comfortable thigh hooks, everybody. I really like the thigh hooks on this thing. Little sharp here. This edge was a little sharp. What I'm gonna do is get some sandpaper when I get home, sandpaper that down and kind of clean that edge up right there. So this is a new seat pan. It looks to be all ABS. Looks like a new seat track too, maybe. I don't know, I have to verify that. Yeah, they did update the seat track. And you can see one toolless adjustment. Absolutely phenomenal on this seat design. You can see the slider down in there. And that feels like, yeah, it just attaches to the seat. They've riveted it to the seat, and then it's a slider on these bolts right here. And then it just slides amongst that. Very easy to adjust. I adjusted this thing in 30 seconds. One of the easiest adjustable. I know it's kind of crazy saying Pyranha has one of the best outfittings out there. They have these rope cleats now, but these are different than your anchor cleats. These have a back pull. You just pull straight back on them. You don't pull them up. Very easy. Your mechanical advantage is higher because you have a pulley system that they built in there. There's a little small pulley right there. You can see the push pin where they push pin it in. This is in an insert and it's bridged off right here, and that feels like that's on a rivet. I agree with that. I actually agree with what they did there, because you need your structure in the front, and that's just kind of like, can be a pop rivet. Structure added right there. Those are kissed off, so that is very strong, very padded out. And then underneath it, it looks like there's an additional pad that they added under there. You can kind of see the redness under there, but it absorbs impact and it keeps your bum warm. It's like a injected foam. Very nice, very good quality seat pad on that. Back band has an adjustment up and down there. You don't adjust it back here. The rope just pulls through there and pulls through, and you see that thing? That rests on your shoulder. How long will that stay on there? I don't know, but it actually feels like it's on there pretty good. I see they made it where you could replace it if it wears out. Good job on that. They do have some attachment loops here, and if you need to get anything in the stern, look how easy that is. One click and lift that up. Look at that, everybody. You've got a lot of area back there for the stern, and because the ability to move your seat forward, you can load that tail down, move your seat forward, all on the side of the river with no tools. Safety step out pillar, bulkhead's the same. I just threw the foam block down there and adjusted it back one. Rope here for a bungee here for an algae bottle, or some sort of drink or something, and your throw rope goes in there. Front bow handle here, and they've made their handle like that in the front just to kind of give it a little more sleeker look. And it has a high peak to it. You can see that it has a higher peak right there. So this thing will shed water when the load's on the deck and moves it around. So yeah, there's everything on the deck. Let me go ahead and roll it up on its side, and let's look at that side profile. It's thin, and then it gets wider. It gets faster wider. It doesn't stay thin very long. It's thin, then it just widens up very wide to right there. And then that's where your width really takes over and runs out. You can see they put the big wave deflectors in there. They kind of have a good clean line blending in there. One thing I do like they textured this entire hull. This is like that sandblast top texture, but I think they do it in the mold. The width here is pretty wide, not overly wide. It's just like, I would say it's probably 12 inches wide from here to here. It doesn't have negative rocker. It's actually like a hybrid kind of planing. There's a little bit of an edge going here, and then the edge runs all the way down, and this edge is easily a ½ inch wide, that chine right there. Look at that edge going all the way down. Gets a little wider here, goes all the way, and then fades out into the bow, and then the wave deflectors take over. That looks really good. I love that transition right there. That looks good. Big, wide, flat area here. I like the logo. They put the logo on there, so that way if you're blasting out of a hole, you'll see that coming up, the angry fish. That's pretty cool. I like that. Very flat and planing in this area. This is all planing. Pretty wide up here. I took some shots today. Pretty wide from this area here, but not overly wide. And the edge is actually digs in right there. Very interesting on this edge. Pretty aggressive. But because what they've done something here. I don't have my little Home Depot ruler, but your distance from here to here is probably 3 to 4 inches, which you guys can tell me how many centimeters that is. What is that, 10 centimeters maybe? I don't know. But going from here, when you go from here to here, your actual planing surface stops, and there's your rail, and then the actual chine is 4 inches, and look at that amount of lift from here to here. So when I see that, what does that tell me? That tells me this boat's gonna float high and allow water to kind of hit under it, but not grab it and slam it over. So it'll be more stable in the boiling water, which is exactly what I've been finding paddling this thing. The edges here has a nice taper going down. It's not a boxy boat at all. It does not have a boxy feel to it. It actually tapers down nicely. When you look, it's kind of hard to show without a flat edge, but from here to here, it curls around and it pulls it all back in, so there's no edge back there to hang up. Rolling that edge runs all the way down, and then it fades out. The planing edge does, and then this chine kicks in right down there. Very different philosophies than what I've seen out there. It doesn't paddle like anything else I've paddled. This is 100% what I'd call a sport creeker. The actual surface in the waters from here to about here, I am not joking, everybody, which gives you that ability to whip this thing around. I could probably just do a flat 360 all the way down the river if I want to. But because that seat's so adjustable, we had moved the seat back some, which lowered that tail down, and Rally, actually, he said if he had it, he'd leave it in the back position the entire time. Because of the fact you can adjust this seat so quick, it's really like you get multiple boats in one. And we can adjust it all the way forward on one lap, do another lap, adjust it all the way back, and have 2 different boats on 2 different laps. And that's kind of cool. So yeah, let me give you one more look at the hull, like that, going down through there. You see that? There's a lot of woo-woos out here. Those guys love the ReactR. Woo! All right, there it is, everybody. That's my full kind of like walkthrough, specs, deck, outfitting, hull of the Pyranha ReactR. Y'all leave in the comments below what if you paddle this thing and what's your thoughts and opinion on it, because it really helps out when you guys kind of give me a lot of feedback on these things, or just what you think of the overall look of it here. And if you got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them for you, because I've already spent a lot of time in this boat and I kind of got a good feel for it, and I kind of know everything it's going to do. But I have been very impressed on this. Piranha absolutely knocked it out of the park with the design, the outfitting, the fit and finish. Very impressive. This is one of the better boats I've paddled out there. It really, I can't compare it to anything. If y'all have a chance to give one a demo, definitely go demo one, because it is something different. It just kind of like pivot around, very smooth and quick, and it's got a good, precise feel to it on the river. So yeah, I will have more content coming, maybe like an on-water review and just running some different stuff. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I will see y'all on the river.